Well, back to Fog Entertainment. We're back here with another movie review. And it is Saw 4. Came out in 2007. And yes, the cool thing about this movie is it actually takes place at the same time as Free. But you would never know that until the end. But basically, we kick off this movie with two kind of things. We've got Hoffman and we have got Rig discovering Alison Kerry's body. Obviously, she died in the third one, which isn't exactly a surprise to anyone. But you kind of think by this point, it's like, fuck, they only find their body now. But that's kind of like the first clue that, like now the timeline is very similar because her body's not that decayed, like, you know, just a few rats around her. And then there's like other stuff where like the guy, I think is it Ling or something, I can't remember his name is. He comes in, he says about a doctor being abducted for the hospital, and obviously that's related to Lynn. Meanwhile though, Rig, he ends up getting kidnapped and he's basically the centerpiece of this game. Meanwhile though, we also had the mausoleum trap at the start between these two guys, Art Blank and this other bald guy. One's got their eyes sewed shut, the other's got their mouth. It's a very hard trap. It's practically impossible because they can't communicate. You know, there's essentially no way around it. Like, I mean, because like you may think, oh, this is easy, right? But the only way for this to work, it would literally for the person who has got the mouth to be sewn shut would be like overpower the other guy and completely like disable him. Not disable him, like cripple him. I mean, like hold him and like fucking unlock him that way, because that guy's just going to constantly think, what the fuck is going on here? He's going to constantly fight back because there's no communication. But that's the whole point of the game. But Art Blank definitely has the advantage here, and but that's another thing. It's like this trap's manipulated. Art Blank has got the entire advantage here, and that's because a lot of this movie's centered around him being connected to Jigsaw. Now, if this other guy beats him, it kind of defeats the purpose of the movie. So John can say that everyone's got a fair chance and all, but there's numerous traps throughout this franchise that are like that, and not just Amanda's ones or Hoffman's, you know. But anyway, yes, Art Blank survives. Then Rig is put to the test. Hoffman, also kidnapped, it wakes up beside Detective Matthews, who's still alive. Art Blank arrives, and then they basically have to wait to see if Rig can pass his game or not, which is basically don't come through the door. But basically, his first trap, Rig, is some woman. He can save her if he just leaves her. He doesn't leave her. He attempts to save her because he's a good guy. He's a cop, you know. Jigsaw's like, fuck you, man. You're a good guy. But starts ripping her scalp off. He does manage to free her, but then she's told essentially to kill Rig or else she'll go to jail forever. And then Rig has to defend himself, and she ends up getting killed. Then the police arrive. They're like, oh shit, maybe Rig's not being tested. He's being recruited. We get more traps. The guy in the hotel, he gets his limbs and all ripped off. You know, we got the people in the school, the husband, the wife, the woman basically kills her husband, finally freeing herself of that relationship. Then Rig heads to his last game, which is at the Gideon Meatpacking Factory. But throughout this, we've got flashbacks about John. Meanwhile, we get introduced to Strom and Agent Perez. Strom's a really good character, I like him, but he's like an obnoxious dickhead, but he's a good detective, so you can like fucking respect it, you know? And yeah, they're basically he's interrogating Jill. They get to the school, but then Perez is hit in the face with shrapnel, which is no good for her. And then we've got other shit going on in the movie, like Rig getting there, the flashbacks, basically seeing John's first victim, which was Cecil, who caused the miscarriage of John's unborn baby. So it's very well done. Like, there's not many movies that, well, I can't really recall many movies that have so many flashbacks like Saw does. Connects all the dots. Like, name me, like, there will be some, of course, but it's rare it happens. Like, when you see it in movies, it's normally just a full-on prequel. But I like the fact here it's not, you know. But then basically we get the final showdown. Essentially, Strom arrives at the meat packing facility as well, but it turns out Jeff is still roaming about, and it turns out this is where we find out the events are happening at the same time. Strom walks in on the absolute bloodbath that happened in that room. Jeff turns around, asks where his daughter is, points the gun at Strom. Strom's forced to kill him, obviously relating back to your partner will kill an innocent man, relating to Jeff. And then Strom is locked in the door by Hoffman, who turns out to be the actual Jigsaw apprentice, because Strom knew there was someone else helping him, they just didn't know who. But because Hoffman freed himself, we cut back a few minutes in movie time. Rig busts through the door with like a second to spare, shoots Art blank. Detective Matthews shoots fucking Rig. The ice blocks crush his dome. They're both shot. Blank goes to reach for the tape, plays it, but Rig thinks he's going to shoot him. Then Rig hears that he failed, and all he had to do was do fuck all, and he would have been alright. Hoffman gets up, reveals himself, good night, game over, and then basically the autopsy scene that opened the movie ends it, and it turns out that they're all dead. And that's what it was referring to. It wasn't the third movie ending, it was actually referring to this, because everyone who was inside the Gideon meat factory, apart from Hoffman, is dead. Well, apart from one guy, and he'll be in the fifth one, and his name is Agent Stromberger. But I feel like I've wrapped that up pretty well, guys. Just over 5 minutes. Definitely, I honestly think this is better than the third one. I think the third one's massively overrated. I think Jeff is just a fucking mess, to be honest. But you know what? And this one's kind of like a continuation of the third one, but it like, I don't know, it wraps it up better in my opinion. But anyway, guys, till next time. Peace.